station controllers are now commanding station systems, setting up that power. All of the connections that were required to be made by the spacewalkers have been completed in that capacity.
Complete on the steps in OCA 414 through number 7.
That is great news. Thank you very much, Shep.
Does that call indicates from inside the station, International Space Station Commander Bill Shepard has been working his procedures inside the Unity module, also setting up for the power distribution from the new arrays, batteries, and electronics.
For that, we need to do some things down.
Okay, I'll stop.
And
Alpha
Endeavor. Let's try that again. Alpha Houston.
Alpha copies, go ahead.
Sorry, where I am. I'm trying to be up there with you. I just want to let you know that we thank you for ingressing the node today, and hopefully we'll get you in there permanently tomorrow.
Okay, do you have any estimates on what time?
We're shooting for somewhere around lunchtime, thinking maybe about 1300 GMT. We're still working, but that's a good ballpark.
Okay, C13 and C12 are please marked. You guys can take a break at copy C13 and C12.
I think that would be a good idea, Shep.
Okay, we'll be having dinner.
Bon appetit.
Put a check on the C5 block.
Those calls from spacecraft communicator Joni Higginbotham here in Mission Control Houston in the Space Station Flight Control Room with International Space Station Commander Bill Shepard. As Shepard completes the work for the day inside the Unity module, the station crew will now close back up the Unity module. Because even with the added power, flight controllers now can power on heaters on the shell of Unity to begin heating it up, but that takes some time to get it heated up to the proper temperature to allow the crew to permanently be inside the module. They have not been inside the module, but other than today, only on Sunday, since they've been aboard the station for the past 34 days.
Targets are clear. And those are the ones, of course, that are between the two gravel pictures where you're working. Okay.
And you're going to need to reconfigure your PCS, but if you wait...
There's a foot chill.
But with that work complete today, now the crew will close up Unity again. But tomorrow, we'll be able to re-enter it permanently as those heaters have warmed up the shell, and the concerns which had prevented the crew from being inside the module for the duration of their flight, except for the couple of times while Endeavour has been docked, the concerns being about humidity and the lack of sufficient electrical power to run the heaters on the module to keep it warm enough to prevent condensation from occurring on the walls of the module. Those concerns will be alleviated now, again starting tomorrow, and the crew can enter it permanently at that point, expanding the size of their new home in space, adding another large room to their available space, and many more systems that they will be watching over and powering up and checking to monitor as the new power distribution system begins operations. Shepard and crew are in the last few hours of their day, heading towards the start of their sleep period in only about a half an hour or so. Official start of their sleep period that would normally get about 3:30 p.m. Central Time. As Shepard reported, they'll be having dinner and preparing to close out their work for the day at this point. Again, leaving the Unity module after having spent time in it today, working in tandem with their fellow astronauts who are working on the exterior of the station to set up the distribution of power from the new solar arrays, batteries, and electronics to the rest of the station. This view generated from the Mission Control Center shows the current activities where astronaut Joe Tanner is positioned using the robotic arm, working to release connections on the pressurized mating adapter number 2. That's the mating adapter in the foreground in this view on the Unity module, facing the camera, the cone-shaped adapter. He and fellow astronaut Carlos Noriega have spent the last hour or so working with releasing connections and preparing for the mating adapter to be detached on the next shuttle mission. That's a shuttle mission that will bring up the first U.S. laboratory to the station, the first of 6 laboratories that will be attached to the station eventually, the Destiny Laboratory, in January 2001.
This is good motion. 6 more inches. All right.
And Endeavor Houston for Brant on Aeroground 2.
All stop. Stop. Good distance. Go ahead.
Okay, Brant, at your
There's a lot of shadow there down too, isn't there?
whenever you have a chance and it's convenient.
That's Brent's busy.
Video from Carlos's helmet camera of the blanket box survey, and then we'll get some folks looking at it.
Okay, we should be able to do that fairly quickly. And we do it. Do you have a minute, Shannon?
Yeah, I've got a minute.
Are you all? What day are you thinking about for? Is there going to be any change to the day for EVA3 from your perspective? Checking C3.
Just like we had planned.
Okay, that's what.
Okay. It'll
Okay.
be after tomorrow.
And those are probably best done free float.
Again, that call up to Commander Brent Jett aboard Endeavour about the survey done earlier today using Carlos Noriega's helmet-mounted television camera of the tensioning system for the starboard, one of the starboard solar array blankets. That video, Brent was requested to retrieve that video and play it back to the ground as soon as the crew can do that, so that technicians and flight controllers who are working with a plan to tension the cables on that array and tighten up the blankets on the third spacewalk that's planned for Tanner and Noriega can see that video and use it in their evaluations as soon as possible. Again, the work at hand at present for Tanner and Noriega is in preparation for a shuttle mission in January, STS-98, that will take up the first laboratory to the International Space Station, the U.S. Laboratory Module Destiny. The work underway on board at present is to detach connections and prepare for one of the cone-shaped mating adapters attached to the Unity module to be detached and the laboratory to be installed in its place. Again, on shuttle mission STS-98 in January, that cone-shaped adapter will be detached. We have an animation that shows what will take place on that. As can be seen here, the cone-shaped adapter will be detached on that mission and then temporarily installed at a location on the lower truss segment, the Z1 truss. That is the activity for which Tanner and Noriega are preparing at this point some get-ahead tasks for that mission. After that takes place on shuttle mission STS-98 in January, the next event will be the installation of the laboratory. That laboratory will be installed. Then after that, before the mission leaves, the mating adapter will be attached at the end of the laboratory, which will be its permanent place on the station from that point on. So again, some get-ahead tasks being done on board now, those in preparation for the first laboratory to arrive at the station in January 2001.
Yes, still off TLO. Hey, we got a job to do. All right. And Mark, I put a wire tie on handhold 408 to make up for F11. I think that'll help keep the SDS targets clear. I don't know if you want to take a... You want to look at that? Looks pretty nice from here, Carlos. And that's the last of the TA clamps. And I managed not to tie myself to PMA2. That's all. Excellent. And that wire tie was on which handhold? 408. Okay, and you confirmed that 11 and 10 were done as well, the TA clamps? Yes, 11 and 10 are locked right in. Okay, all right. Thank you. Good job. Okay. And there's some left on Joe's side? Two of them, C1 and C2, I believe. And I would like you to take a look at the thermal covers on mine and also yours. Looks like they're starting to work their way back. Oh, are they? I know that J11, I think, was on mine was sliding back. I couldn't reach it anymore. That's going to be okay. And Joey, you mentioned 1 and 2. Does that mean you did 3 and 4? I have check marks before you were taking a break during that period of time. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Blummer, you're looking better. All right, well, I'm open for suggestions. Okay, well, let's go lean in here. Yes, there is. And take me down a foot and a half. I can verify it as in the open. K4. Of course, we don't have any WVS to verify that. That's true. I guess I'm just going to have to take my word. Closed. Want to go get the aux back now? Aux back, please. Here we go. And we don't have a timeline. Stand by checking. Okay. Okay, and that means 3 and 4 still have to be confirmed, and then we need to confirm that all the SCS targets between. Joe, can you verify I'm clear of the Still need to do 1 and 2, right? Oh, you did them. Oh, you did them? Yeah. And then I put my duties look there. I closed it. Well, we. Definitely a little bit ahead. You're making great progress, remember? That's nice. Hey, Mark, you still on here as well? I'm not adjustable tether, but gap center. Oh, can I get a head task? Yeah, that's a good idea. How's it looking, Joe? About how far do I have? Probably 12 feet. Okay. 2.5 shuttle bays. Okay. Are you in a good attitude where you can get it? Yep. All right. Just come straight orbiter forward. Phones and left over from PMA2 relocation prep test. Right, there's two of them here. Swimmer. Check with the grant. I'll stop. I'll stop. Well, I think the short one will sit, Mark. That was excellent. Okay, thank you. Jody, is the illuminator on for camera A? I think they are. Carlos, I haven't had one bit of trouble with bayonet fitting. All right. What's the paint problem? What they had there? Okay. Don't worry, we're recording it. So I just want to make sure. How we doing? You okay, Carl? I'm doing great. Yeah, so am I. You're going to love me later. I have taken some absolutely incredible pictures of you. Oh, on the arm? But yeah, just snapped 2 or 3 just in the last little bit. Okay, we have your signal strength now if you wanted to say anything. No, I didn't want to. Okay, well, glad you guys are enjoying yourself so much. Well, can I talk in an obligatory woohoo? Okay, go for it. Okay. This is your one opportunity. Oh, that I just did. All right. That's for Susan. Yeah, for Susan. And, Carlos, you're going to take that long gap spanner that you took off the node and take it over to span handhold 5341 to 5329. All right.
Endeavor Houston for IV Mark. We are back with you in comm. Just before we had the comm drop out, we thought you asked where to store the gap spanners, and EVA said that Joe T could take the one he needs for the get-ahead task with him. Oh, that was Carlos, I'm sorry. And you could leave the other one on the wagon wheel just to make sure it's not obscuring the target.
Okay, I'll fix the shorter gap spanner later. I have the long one with me, and I'm proceeding to go install it after I drop off the tether reel for next time.
And Houston copies.
And the PMA-2 relocation tasks are complete, as you know, and EV-1 is currently transiting with the aux bag on the end of the arm.
And thank you for that update, Mark.
And, Mark, I asked you for a timeline update a while back, and you were going to get back to me. Yes, you're ahead of time. I would say probably 25 minutes. Okay. And I kind of expected that on PMA-2 relocation.
And Endeavor Houston for Brent. Before the comm dropout, we thought you were trying to call.
Well, I sure find myself pointing my toes out every once in a while, Carlos. I can imagine. Shannon, we have that tape ready to go down when you want.
Okay, stand by.
Well, from the sound of it, Carlos, they're going to rotate the array, and we're going to go up there and work on those tension lines. Mm-hmm.
And Endeavor Houston for Brent. Right now, as soon as we can, locking the
Copy.
Endeavor Houston. Yes, we're back up on N1-2, and we've reconnected. So whenever you want to reconnect your PCS to N12, you have to go for that.
Payload bay. How long can you see me with camera C with the illuminator on? Yeah, you're pretty well lit up, Joe. Okay. Okay, while going by here, Mark, I'll take a look at the primary umbilicals. It looks like they're good and clear of the SDS targets as well. Okay, that's good. As a matter of fact, I was able to sort of insert a couple of the stanchions back where they came from. For their launch locations, I didn't make it on the fold, of course. I'm sorry, Joe, I missed that last one. A couple of the stanchions that the 2A guys released, I kind of put them back in the little soft dock area. I didn't drive the bolt, of course, but really they're right where the same one place they were when they launched. Okay, copy. Okay, Mark, if you have dropped off the other retractable tether at 5319. Okay, copy. I'm going to do the gap splitter now. Excellent.
Go ahead, Brent.
Remember, you're getting closer. Get both PCUs back up.
We will.
Okay. Thank you. Keep it coming left another 2 feet. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. All right. All stop. Stop. Endeavor,
Go ahead.
Yeah, just not to make anybody nervous. I meant the second PCU.
Yeah, we're in the process of warming that up, Brent, and when that gets warmed up and we turn that off, we'll be...
Want the brakes on?
And I'll...
No, yeah, because I might have you move me. I'm sorry? I might have you move me, so... Okay. Okay, let's take me just straight down on the payload bay. That'll be easiest for you to figure out. All right. One of the hooks is fastened on 5313. Another 6 inches. Copy, 6 inches. Okay, you can stop. Stopped. Got a hook now, 2 hooks. Good. Probably the easiest for me to just do this free float now, Blimmer, so brakes on. Okay, brakes are on, Joe. Nice job. Took a little longer, but we got there. You won't hear me complain. I'll tell you about it later. Okay. enough tether available for me to go to the pad and uninstall these? For me, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I untangle myself. Or don't get tangled in my tether. Here's the easiest way to do this. That was 5329 to 5341, right, Mark? That's correct, Carlos. Okay. I just got to tighten it up, and my debt to the folks out at the station is paid. Okay, I'm sure they heard that. I'm going to undo it and take some of these twists out. You're moving, right, Bloomer? Have you moved? No, not yet. Not yet, okay. Are you in a hurry? No. Okay. What do you want me to do? Nothing yet. I just want to make sure I don't get tangled around my tether, so... Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll move it down in half. I know I'm going to go that way initially anyways. Stay right there. I've got it pretty well figured out where you are right now, and I'll finish this job. Okay, and then move. Okay, Mark, I'm securing the tether to 5308, the lower hourglass, and I'll pull it to the mark that we made. Copy, Jeff. Okay, Mark, that gap spanner is complete. I don't know if you need any WBS confirmation of it, but that's pretty much how it looked back in Florida. Okay, why don't you do a scan from left to right, and that'll be good. We see the left on the edge of the picture. That's good. I got it. Move across to the right. And the good side of the width is unblocked. On 53, width of 13, and there's 5329 over there. Okay, and all the slack, it looks like the slack is out of it. Yeah, I think it's about as tight as you want it. Okay, great. Okay. Good job. So you're now ready to go to the ticker. All right, I'll be doing the Zenith one first. Okay. Okay, 5313. Stand rail. Back off the other way. NJT, when that's installed, we've got a requirement to photo document that. Okay, well, might have to come back. Well, you can do it with the arm. Okay, we'll do that. Mark, I'm going to go ahead and do the RTDs first. Okay, start with the RTDs. think I'll just start pulling the tape off and throwing it in the trash can before I even try to knot it up. All right, I've only got one more to go, and then I'll pull them all tight. We're photo documenting you with the wrist camera. You probably noticed the light come on behind you. Okay, I'm going to have to get a little creative here. I'll stop you.
Endeavor, Houston. So, Joe, you're going to get the H temperature? Houston Endeavor, air to ground 2 jumper, message 58. Go ahead, Brent.
Close command inhibits for Z1 3B 103.
Stand by, Brent. Let me check.
All right, now we have many options on how to work out of this bag. One of them was BRT. So I'll exercise that one first. See how it works. Okay. opening the bag, Mark. Copy. Lid is open. Exposing the ace jumpers.
Endeavour, Houston. Yeah, Brent, we have to send one more command, then we'll be ready for that and let you know when we're complete.
Okay. I see you sending the inhibit commands to Z13B Alpha. I'm tethered to the first one, and that's 16 and 17.
This is Mission Control Houston on board Endeavour, outside the International Space Station and the shuttle. Astronauts Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega are 4 hours and 16 minutes into their spacewalk. All activities have been going smoothly for them throughout the day since beginning and exiting Endeavour's hatch at 11:21 a.m. Central Time this morning. To recap their activities thus far,
There's a message 58.
they've completed reconfiguring electrical connections and all commanding on the ground and on board the International Space Station, a coordinated effort among the station crew, the shuttle crew, the spacewalkers, and flight controllers here on the ground to
I'll let you know when that is.
Copy.
set up the power system for the International Space Station, allowing the station systems to use power from the P6 truss and the batteries, electronics, and solar arrays now installed on the station and operating just as expected. Also, the crew installed an S-band communications antenna at a higher location on the station, moving it up to a point at the top of the 90-foot structure that it towers above Endeavour's payload bay at present. That's all connected and working well also.
I'm still on the two tethers, but we're holding those two guys back on that little loop.
And the two spacewalkers prepared some get-ahead tasks for the next shuttle mission for assembly of the station, shuttle mission STS-98 in January, that will attach the first laboratory to the station, the U.S. Destiny Lab. In anticipation of that, they disconnected and prepared one cone-shaped mating adapter on the Unity module to be detached on that mission, the laboratory attached into its place, and then that cone-shaped adapter attached at the end of the laboratory.
Yeah, I guess you're going to handhold 0004. So I need to relocate this secondary power feedback. Go, I'm sorry.
Among the tasks coming up for the crew will be the connection of cabling known as H-jumpers, some cabling that will allow increased power for the Zarya and Zvezda modules, additional power capacity to them as part of the P6 truss installation and generating electricity for the station now. And further tasks to get ahead for the STS-98 mission, the delivery of the laboratory. That includes setting up foot restraints, the foot platforms that will be needed in the right locations that they'll be used by the next crew of spacewalkers on that mission in January 2001, and also releasing cinches holding one of the radiators on the station. One radiator on the station has been deployed. We have a picture here in Mission Control that shows those radiators, and one of the ones that will be deployed by the crew or released by the crew, rather, in preparation for deploy on tomorrow's activities for the mission.
Okay, while I'm here, Mark, why don't we review PGT settings? Okay, stand by. All right, the PGT settings are A5, counterclockwise 2, 23.5. Of course, if it doesn't work at A5, you
This radiator in the front of the station has already been deployed, called the photovoltaic radiator. That provides cooling for the batteries and electronics associated with the solar arrays. The aft radiator on the station is the one that the crew will release cinches on in preparation for its deploy tomorrow. That's part of an early cooling system that will provide cooling for the Unity module and for the laboratory once it is attached. This piece brought up on the mission in January of 2001. On that mission in January 2001, another radiator will also be uncinched and deployed as well, a starboard early cooling system radiator. But again, the cinches on this aft radiator will be undone by the crew members today as the final, one of the final tasks on their spacewalk, and prepared for the extension of that radiator tomorrow by the crew.
Get a good caption on this Velcro for the second of our power feedback. That's what I'm working on so hard. Sorry, I missed that, Joe? Well, I'm moving the secondary power feedback back into the slot where it belongs. Okay, I copy. So make sure I get a good capture on the Velcro. Good idea. That's complete. I can verify all the other cables and caps are here. Okay, Mark, I am in work on the Zenith Cinch H11. Copy, H11. A5, now go. A6 worked. Copy, A6. There's 6 turns. Okay, I give it another turn. Turns.
The extravehicular activities officer here in Mission Control.
And the cinch is stowed.
The EVA officer confirms that now astronaut Carlos Noriega is working on that task to release cinches on a second radiator on the P6 truss segment. The EVA officer on duty, the lead EVA officer for this flight, is Glenda Laws on the left side in this picture at their console. On the right, assisted by EVA officer Tricia Mack. Again, confirming that Carlos Noriega now is working with release of cinches on that aft radiator for the early cooling system, a radiator that will provide cooling for the Unity module and also for the upcoming Destiny laboratory when it's attached to the station in January 2001. That radiator, the cinch is released and holding it in place for launch today. It'll be deployed, extended, tomorrow during the mission.
Okay, I'm clean. I'm heading to the nadir cinch.
That's a task for Noriega, and the EVA officer reports that the task upcoming now for astronaut Joe Tanner is the installation of jumper cable connections between the truss structure that will allow additional power capacity for the Zarya and Zvezda modules of the International Space Station. We now have live television from a camera at the end of the arm of Endeavour's robotic arm, looking at astronaut Joe Tanner as he prepares for that installation of those jumper cables, cabling called H-jumpers, again, to increase the power capacity for Zvezda and Zarya.
Go ahead.
We have about 26 minutes to KU coverage if you could downlink the video.
Here it comes.
Hey, thanks.
And this is a playback from video on board. This video recorded earlier via a camera on Carlos Noriega's spacesuit helmet as he was at the top of the 90-foot tower above Endeavour's payload bay, looking at the base of the starboard solar array blanket and the tensioning system.
Great, thank you.
The tensioning system that currently is the subject of evaluations here in Mission Control.
And we see you're on your way. I'll head that way.
Currently a plan being put together that could potentially be used on the third spacewalk of the mission, coming up on Thursday, to work with this tensioning system and increase, tighten basically the blankets on this solar array.
Okay, Blimmer. Satisfied that I am away. Oops, not yet. From the arm.
Again, this video was recorded earlier in the spacewalk, a couple of hours ago, via a camera mounted on astronaut Carlos Noriega's spacesuit helmet.
Okay. All right, Mark, I think the preferred translation path here is going to be down along the pool handle. I agree. Here's the safety tether here, small hooks. What's up? I got the nadir cinch in. All right. Got a roll today.
We think we're going to be able to see you through our front windows when the lights, when the daylight comes in about a minute and 20 seconds. Joe T working on the H jumpers.
Okay. Thanks for the warning. A minute and 20.
Translate down the gap.
Go ahead, Chef.
On to PMA number 1.
Can you pick a time when you'd like to talk about schedule for tomorrow?
Approaching the work site, Mark. Copy.
Okay, let me ask Flight. I'll be
All right.
back with you in a moment.
First thing I need to do is, I think, maybe not. This gap spanner that we thought was connected to the blue plate is only running through it. Copy. And I rolled it all the way out of the way. I rolled it to alpha. And that should give me access without removing the gap spanner. Okay. To
Please be standing by.
the 1617 site, but we'll start with the 2120 site. That's agreeable to you.
Okay, the 2021 site, that's fine.
And this television is a replay of video that was recorded aboard Endeavour. This is a replay from Endeavour's cabin, set up by Commander Brent Jett, a video recorded on board earlier during the spacewalk as Carlos Noriega was at the top of the 90-foot structure in Endeavour's payload bay, by the base of the starboard solar array panel, looking at the tensioning mechanism for that solar array blanket, the one blanket that is the subject of discussion in Mission Control, and a plan being put together for the potential tensioning to retighten that blanket on the third spacewalk plan for the mission on Thursday.
Okay, Mark, I'm at the work site, secured with the BRT, kind of like I'm staying there in APFR. This is really awesome. Okay, all right, talk to me. I'll start with 21 and 20. I'm going to A7 on this one, H15. A6 and A5 have not worked. Mark, I've got the thermal route pulled back from 21 and 20.
Very good. On the PMA side.
On both sides.
Okay, good side. Okay, great. So you're going to demate the PMA-1 connectors from the PMA-1 panel. I don't know if they've got that A9 designation visible to you.
They do, and
To get it to those two to the soft dock position.
I'm just going to throw the bail bar.
That's correct.
Okay, let me get Shannon.
On 20 and 21.
Affirmative.
All right, I have to go for this.
You have to go.
I heard you say it. All right, that's 21.
Airground 2.
Bail bar is thrown. 20. Bail bar is thrown. That's complete.
Okay. Then you go to the other side and you actually demate the connectors from the FGB side. FGB P20 and P21.
Okay. 20. And 21. Bail bars are thrown. Connector is demated. These are huge pins, you can imagine.
Yes.
H15 came up with a torque of 21. You want
Copy. H15, 21 torque.
Okay, now what do I do?
Okay, when you've disconnected those two, inspect the connectors.
Okay. Sockets are fine.
Okay, now,
Let me check the
are you holding FGB P20 or P21?
Wait a minute, I'm checking the pins here.
Okay.
I would be shocked if there was any problem with one of those. Okay, now I've got the H jumper.
Okay, well, the FGB P20 is going to connect to the H jumper J20 alpha.
Okay. First I'm going to have to demate. We've got the H jumper coil back on itself, as you recall.
Right.
Okay, that cinch clip is stowed.
And Carlos, you said H15, didn't you?
Yeah, 21.1.
Okay, and had you done H12, the Nader one?
Yes.
Okay, copy.
And that's the one I was commenting, but I was actually able to put it away.
Very good.
Okay. 20 Alpha.
That's right. Goes to FGB P20.
Okay, I got 4 big pins. To 20 Alpha to 20. There's 20 Alpha. There's 20. Sorry to be so particular about this, Mark. Looks like the pins will marry up just fine.
Good. No, don't worry about that. We've got to be. The numbers are very similar. We've got to get the right combination.
Yeah, we haven't done this thing a gazillion times.
That's true.
That mating is complete.
Okay. Now the other FGB connector P21, you're going to marry that to H jumper J21 Alpha.
Okay. First of all, I'm splitting the. Got 5 pins. Like only 3 of them are active. That's 21 Alpha. This is 21. They've got 5 pins also. Must be the right one. Soft dock. Nail bar is thrown. Now you probably want thermal covers on. We can do that. No, I can do that now while it's easier to move it.
Whenever it's convenient.
Okay. And promise the thermal cover is long enough to cover almost the whole thing. Cover on 20 is secure. Thermal cover is on. Okay. Now, next.
Okay, where you took those 2 FGB connectors off, there's 2 holes, of course, and that's where you're going to connect the other 2 ends of your H jumpers. You're going to connect your H jumper P20 Alpha to PMA1 J20.
All right. Trying to think ahead here, Mark, on the best way to stow these things. They want to naturally curl. We were, originally planning to stuff them behind the target here, but they naturally want to curl the other way.
Understand.
And these are pretty stiff. Okay. 20, you said?
We are listening.
That's right. H jumper P20 Alpha, which is a socket side, to PMA1 J20.
This is a television view of Carlos Noriega as he works with the cinches on that aft radiator, releasing the cinches that hold it in place during launch. This radiator to be extended tomorrow.
Uh-oh.
Okay, copy.
I'm going to just investigate. I'm going to put my tool away from here.
The previous radiator deployed already provides cooling for the batteries and electronics. The early external active thermal control system radiators, of which this is one which Noriega is working with, provide cooling for the modules, for the station modules. This will provide some early cooling for the Unity module, but primarily they're designed to provide cooling for the U.S. laboratory module when it arrives in January of 2001.
20 alpha to 20 alpha. Bell bar is thrown. There's only one left.
That's right. And you can probably figure that one out.
Yeah.
And Carlos, we're with you on the WVS if there's anything you want to point out.
Okay. That seemed to go down. Maybe I just wasn't on axis properly with the tool. I got it to go down with a fit pin.
Great. Good work. So by my count, you've only got two left. One's on the other side.
After I do this one, right?
This is a view from the helmet-mounted television camera on Carlos Noriega's spacesuit helmet as he works with releasing the straps holding the aft ETAX radiators, it's called, the aft early cooling system radiator, in place for launch. This radiator will be extended tomorrow. These radiators, the two early cooling system radiators, provide cooling for the modules of the space station as opposed to the radiator that's already extended, that was extended in connection with the deploy of the solar arrays on the new truss. That radiator provides cooling for the solar array associated electronics and batteries and equipment.
Okay, so you let me know when you've got both bail bars thrown back. That's complete. Okay, all the protective covers on, so that's half the job.
Not yet. I got to finish the covers there. I've got the PMA one side. I haven't done those yet.
Okay, copy.
It's not too bad to work with, you know. They're not the easiest thing in the world, but not too bad.
Seems to be a good BRG position that you got.
This is awesome. All right. I'm going to borrow a wire tie that's here and use it. I like recycling wire ties. I've had a whole bunch done on the CMA. Somebody was kind enough to leave it for us. How to use it. My EVA brothers and sisters. Okay, Mark. Like you said, that's half the job. And I'll photodoc when I'm done. The translation path is clear. The sun sensor is clear. Okay. Relocate to the next site.
Endeavour and the International Space Station are now 235 miles above Australia. As we watch a view from the helmet cam mounted on Carlos Noriega's spacesuit, preparing to releasing
And of course,
straps that have been holding the early cooling system radiators, the aft early cooling system radiator, in place for launch on the newly attached truss. This radiator will be released tomorrow, deployed to its extended length.
Talk to me.
A second early cooling system radiator called the starboard radiator, located another side of the square truss away from this radiator, won't be deployed until shuttle mission STS-98 in January of 2001.
Okay, now as I face them, 16 and 17 are the two on my left, and 18 is on the right. So outboards it's like 20 and 21, so that's consistent. Copy. The thermal covers are coming back on 16 and 17. Sail bar 16. Sail bar 17. Thermal covers coming back on 16 and 17. All right, now jumping. Release 16, I bet. Or release them both, I guess.
You're going to release both FGB P16 and P17.
Yeah, the FGB 16 is coming off. Nice socket.
Not that you have a choice, but you're more than welcome to join in since we're going to be doing it on the air-to-ground too. Maybe you like to monitor and you have any comments.
17's off. Nice socket. Okay, Mark, I think I got enough turns on this that the expansion is making it a little hard to get off. Just gonna, the maximum turns I can give it is 8 turns, right?
I believe that's correct. I can check with the ground on the situations. You've given it 8 turns, and it's expanded the radiator so that it's hard to pull it off.
Right, and the thing I have is I was having a hard time with that particular anti-rotation feature. So I had a lot of partial attempts, and my tool is up to 7.5, but I don't know if there's any missed turns in there.
Okay, copy. Stand by. You're on
H13.
H13. Is that correct, Carlos? You're on H13?
That's permanent.
Just a moment, I'll speak with the ground. Houston Endeavor on aft ETAC station radiator cinches.
And Endeavor Houston for Mark, can you please repeat your last transmission?
Yes, Carlos has removed the cinches on the ticker from the Zenith and the Nader ones, H11 and 12, as well as H15. He's on H13. He's given almost 8 turns to that cinch. The radiator expands as he does his turns, and there's still a lot of force on the cinch, and we'd like to know whether we're allowed to do any more turns than he's showing 7.5 turns on his PGT.
Okay, stand by one. Mark, we'll get back with you.
Copy.
Were you able to compress it like we were yesterday? Yeah. Yeah, let's see when I compress it. If worst comes to worst, I'll come over and help you when I get down here, and I'll compress. Give you get the thing out of the clip. This one of your last 2, isn't it? No, I got 2 more after this. All right. Okay, Mark. I'm ready with the H jumper.
Okay, FGB P16, one of the 2 that you just disconnected, will connect to H jumper J16 Alpha.
J16 Alpha, I see that. 5 pins versus 5 pins.
And Endeavor Houston with an answer, Mark.
Go ahead, Shannon.
We would like for him to try depressing the panels first before they, tried more turns. So depress and see if that would help.
Okay, we copy it, Carlos. That may not be easy for you to do. Do you want to wait until Joe T gets up there?
Well, I have tried depressing it, but I can leave it here and go do loosen the other ones.
Okay, why don't you do that?
Okay, Mark, 16 and 17 are mated.
Okay, so you've done FGB 17 to H jumper J17 Alpha?
I have, and I'm pulling the thermal covers back in place.
Boy, you're working up there, you're going to take PMA 1J16 and connect it to H jumper P16 alpha. So 16 to 16.
All right. I think I can figure the math from here.
I knew you could.
That's a little bit above my level, but not much. Okay, thermal covers are back on FUB to the jumper, and I'm going after now the final connection. Copy.
And Endeavour Houston for Mark. I have an APFR change for page 7-41 in the EV2 column when you're ready to copy.
Ready to copy.
Okay, there in step 1 under EV2. We want APFR with P635, move it to APFR PC19 to Indigo, I'm sorry, that's P619 to Indigo, Echo 11.
Okay, you want the APFR and P635 relocated to P619 with settings of 2 Indigo, Echo 11.
Good readback, Mark.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Carlos, that'll be a task for you. Do you know offhand where P619 is? I can get the reference book out.
I think I know where it is.
Okay.
Kind of right next door. Yep.
Alrighty.
This continuing some live television from a camera mounted on astronaut Carlos Noriega's spacesuit helmet as he continues to release straps, cinches holding an aft early cooling system radiator in place for launch. Those will be released in anticipation of the extension of that radiator tomorrow during the mission. One cinch, although he had loosened its all the way, still did not come out of its bracket that holds the radiators in place for launch, so it was suggested that he push down on the radiator panels while attempting to release it simultaneously, that would give the slack necessary to get it fully released, but that's difficult to do with just one person, so he'll wait till fellow spacewalker Joe Tanner can come assist him, and in the meantime move on to the other cinches. That's what he's doing now, moving on to begin releasing other of the straps holding those radiators, protecting them during the launch of Endeavour.
Has made it. Copy.
As Noriega continues with this task, again releasing that early cooling system radiator, the one of 2 radiators for the early cooling system. The other one won't be deployed until the next shuttle mission for assembly. His fellow spacewalker Joe Tanner is working with the installation of cables called H-jumpers that
I made sure no flakes of paint.
allow added power capacity for the Zvezda and Zarya modules from the new power generating equipment installed by Endeavour on the station. These are some of the last tasks planned for this spacewalk. After this,
Just a heads up on comm, we're going to have bad Radicom due to blockage by station from now until 1938.
Copy, 1938. The plan at the moment, I think, is that EV1 will go and work with EV2 on the ticker after completing the H jumpers.
Okay, that sounds good.
deploying these radiators and completing the installation of those jumper cables, the H jumpers as they're called, that Tanner is working with now, are some of the last tasks planned for this spacewalk. After that, they'll turn their attention to cleaning up their gear, putting some foot platforms in place for use on the next mission, and then repressurizing the airlock, finishing up and returning to the cabin of Endeavour. The two astronauts are now approaching 5 hours outside, working on the exterior of the International Space Station and the shuttle.
Alpha and Endeavour on Air to Ground 2. We're ready to have our conference if you guys are ready.
Okay, the thermal cover's back on 17. I still haven't made it 16 yet, but I will in a second.
Okay.
Copy, Joe.
And Houston, this is Alpha.
H16 is complete. Pinches stowed.
We're going to have
Copy.
now, so
16 is made it.
this may be a little difficult, but
Copy.
if you guys sleep, we'd like to start.
With 16 normal torque, Carlos?
Yeah, it was about, yeah. Forgot to report that one, didn't I? Yeah, I should already timed out.
Don't worry.
I think it was 20-something, about 21.
Okay. That's what I was sort of expecting.
The air conditioning replacement back on 124 and
Okay. This building left, Marcus, to throw these two bail bars.
Yeah, and once you confirm all the protective covers are back on, that's it.
Wow. Two bail bars are thrown.
It's a high priority item to get done now. I would like to see it wait till after Friday.
Okay, Shep, we copy that, and we'll be talking with Moscow to see if we can get that work for you. We were actively worked at, is what I'm being told in my ear.
Two things that we need to do tomorrow, we need to organize the cargo that's going to go down on 4A, and I need to get on top of IMAX so we can get some shooting done. And then on Thursday, we need to try and lay stuff out in the node, including the cargo, and also set up IWIS. And unless we can park the things that are not central to getting through the 4A flight, we're not going to be ready for Flight Day 9.
And, Shep, we copy that, and we concur strongly, and we agree with all that you're saying, and we will do our best to get most of the things that are not 4A related and critical off of your timeline.
I'm sure just got to do that. We're thankful already.
We will use everything we have to get that to happen.
So you're, I missed that.
And that's all our office got. So if you can work that, we'd be real happy.
All right, Shep, we appreciate that, and we will work that. Like I said, with everything, brains, brawn, whatever else we have to throw in there, we'll try to get that done for you. And we've kept you up late enough. We thank you for all your hard work today, and we will let you go off to bed.
Hey, Johnny, can I add something from the shuttle side?
Yes, please do.
Have you heard from the shuttle flight control team whether we're going to be allowed to do 261 or not?
Visual on anything over here.
Which is the IWIS requirement for SHEP.
And the last I had, stand by, please.
And there's no specific...
And Brent, what I'm being told is that's contingent upon the blanket tensioning.
Documentation. I think we should take a picture. I would suggest... Okay, so the soup has got off on doing 261. You head on up to the ticker. Yeah, I need to take a picture.
It's still in the plan, but there's some other things that will be working.
Okay. It's just that when we launched, we didn't have approval for either 257 or 261, or I guess we got 257 approved very late. And I'm just not... We did not know that 261 was approved by the Russians.
Okay, and that is correct. It's not a soup issue anymore, Brent. It's just we need to get all our ducks in a row over here.
Okay, so we just need to get the flight contention. Okay, thanks.
Okay, Brent, I think I'm being told we have about 30 seconds to hand over. So with that, Brent, just to let you know, we're doing a handover, and Stephanie will be coming on and taking over for me. Thanks for all your hard work today.
Hey, you too. You guys did great, and we don't have anything left for the backup, so we'll disconnect the VHF so Chef can go to bed. Okay, I'm calling us in, Mark.
And
Anything for us?
Reason to rotate.
no more for Alpha. Just one quick thing for Brent. You're probably going to get a go into PMA 3 tonight. And Shep will be able to access that stuff tomorrow.
This is Mission Control Houston. That conference between spacecraft communicator astronaut Joan Higginbotham in the Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston.
Unexpected right now because there's only one PCU up and they have that plasma concern.
Like,
Sounds like an improvement. You know what we ought to do also, Shep, is make sure that the ground is enabled both of our emails to go, go back and forth so we can also try email. But whatever time is good for you, we have a pretty likely day tomorrow. All right, I'm on my way.
later, so you should see
We've been getting up around.
Okay, I got this one up by myself.
Okay, so we're down to one that still needs to come on to CH-13.
Right. As much play as I had on this, I would say.
We've been waiting. Okay, 1500 GMT. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks.
And
That was a
Go ahead.
yeah, Brent, I think my last call got cut off because we had a quick dropout. Just want to let you know that you were going to have time to go into the PMA 3 tonight, and that Shep will be able to retrieve the items that you put in there tonight tomorrow.
Yeah, great. We're starting to gather everything we need for that. Thanks very much.
Good deal.
that between spacecraft communicator astronaut Joan Higginbotham in the Space Station Flight Control Room here in Houston, and both International Space Station Commander Bill Shepard on the International Space Station and Endeavour Commander Brent Jett aboard the shuttle. End of the day planning and conference as the space station crew ends their day. Actually up late today. They normally go to sleep about 3:30 p.m. aboard the station. Up a little late today as they've had a very busy day with the activation of the U.S. power system. All of that working well. The power being generated by the new solar arrays installed on the station is now supplied for use to the station modules and systems. All of the equipment involved with that is working very well, as reported by the station flight control team. Also, some of the conversations through that conference included some questions from Jet about detailed test objective 261. That's one of the test objectives on this flight that would involve firing of the shuttle jets and observing the dynamics created on the new 240-foot tip-to-tip solar arrays. And the planning for that.
Yep.
In addition, the crew told that they should have an opportunity to enter the outermost compartment of the station again tonight after the spacewalk is completed. That called PMA-3, Pressurized Mating Adapter number 3, to leave some supplies there for the space station crew. The station crew will be able to enter the Unity module once and for all tomorrow. They've entered it twice in their more than month-long stay on board the station, both of those times in the last couple of days while Endeavour has visited. First, to retrieve some supplies in that outermost compartment left just after Endeavour docked. a second time today to help with the reconfiguring of the power system and supplying power now from the U.S. arrays to the station. They'll open it once and for all tomorrow with the new power allowing the thermal conditioning of that module of Unity, heaters in the module to prevent condensation from forming on the walls, which had been the concern that had prohibited the crew from being in that module for the duration of their stay thus far. So the shuttle crew will be able to leave some supplies for them to retrieve once they enter the Unity module. The shuttle crew opening up the outermost compartment tonight, putting supplies in, sealing up the hatches again, and then the station crew retrieving those when they enter the Unity module tomorrow. The final hatches won't be opened with both crews available to greet one another until day 9 of the mission after the third spacewalk is completed. That's planned for Thursday.
Mark, with a heads up for the rest of the EVA timeline.
Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay, we'd like the crew members to work together to do the ETAC station, cinches, and winches. Then we would like for EV2 to do the 5A get-ahead prep task there on 7-41, do step 1.
Oh, you got that?
Then, as we modified it, and then wait for a go from the ground before step 2, which will be based on time left in the EVA. And we would like EV1 to go to sortie cleanup on page 7-44.
Okay, I copy.
Hey, Mark, I didn't catch all of that, but right now we're getting ready to go do winches, if you guys are ready for that.
We're ready. Just let us know when you're in position, and don't do anything until we go pre-dress.
We won't do anything without you.
And what's the ground?
This is a still image of the work underway with Tanner and Noriega now near the aft early cooling system radiator as they prepare to work together to release a remaining strap holding that radiator, preparing for the radiator to be extended tomorrow on the mission. This radiator that provides cooling for the station modules, the previous radiator that is already extended, that was extended in connection with the deploy of the solar arrays, allows cooling of the batteries and electronics, the equipment associated with that power generation from the arrays. There are actually 2 early cooling system radiators. Only one is to be deployed on this mission. The second will be deployed when more cooling is required for the Destiny laboratory that's delivered in January.
The one that we're setting up for Friday, or after tomorrow.
The one you have a go for is the first one, which is the new P619. And then after you've done that, we'll get a go from them for the one with the dual stanchion.
Okay, copy.
And Endeavour Houston, for Mark, we would just like to verify that all the cinches, specifically H13, have been completed before you do the winch bar.
They have been.
And that's affirmative. Say again, Joe? Oh, yes. You've been at it for 5 hours and 8 minutes.
Yeah, we know that, but how long until you here for your drift?
Oh, we're ready.
Oh, okay, can you wait a second?
Okay. Okay, copy. And we're resuming. And if you tell us you're clear of the work site, we're going to return to attitude control.
I'm clear. Yeah, we're good enough.
Okay, copy. Watching it, so we're satisfied.
Okay. Well, you have the pins. I inserted mine up so that the ring is away from the handle.
Okay, Carlos, why don't you go over to where Joe returned the pin?
Can I go ahead and do that after I move this pit bar?
Sure.
Home? And for Tom Jones, the stop sign's no big deal. Easy to get around. Plumber, I think I need to come work with you for just a little bit. All right, now we're convinced I don't need to go higher than the interface for the rest of the day. Yeah, we've been 5 hours and 10 minutes, and I could go take a quick look at MMOD shield. Carlos has got a fairly aggressive activity with that APFR adjustment, the tool stanchion. I thought it was the other way around. What's that? I thought I was moving this guy to P619.
Yeah, you're starting with that, Carlos.
Okay.
And afterwards, you'll do the other one.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Joe, you want to go do the MMOD shield?
Well, I'm thinking as soon as I can do the get rid of the APFR and put that away in the pad, and then just still be on the arm safety tether and do the safety tether swap later. And I don't know, what do you think? As hard as these other winches have been to get off, that we just break our cinches, just break the torque on the starboard one.
Okay, there's quite a few things in there that you've mentioned. The MMOD, also the stickers, and
I'm throwing too much
there is
stuff
the cleanup. Let me ask the ground about whether or not they would like to consider doing the sticker cinches, breaking the torques.
Yeah, let me summarize all my suggestions.
Endeavor Houston for Mark IV.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mark, we do not want you to do anything with the stickers. If you have any extra time, what we prefer is to do the 5A Get Ahead Step 2. There under EV2 on page 7-41.
Okay, copy.
And which one is that?
And that's relocating the APFR with the tool stanchion. And the ground asked us to have Carlos do that after he does the first APFR. So you can, I think there's time for you to look at either MMOD cover release or with antenna relocation.
Okay, well, let's tell you what. I'm going to give it a little time to chew on this, and I'll take the pad off, put the APFR back, and then make sure everybody's happy before I get off of this tether.
Okay, copy.
Okay, plumber. We need to move down in the bay. Back, we're not quite in the same position we were when before install.
Nope, we've been watching you guys, so here I'll go down.
Okay, I'll just let you go there then. If you remember the numbers, you can go right to the same numbers. cranky in mental days, but I'm not tired.
I understand. I just think that probably the ground does not intend to do anything with the sticker at this point.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about sticker. I'm talking about some other things up there like MMOD and the...
Yes, and I think that those are definitely on the table.
Yeah.
And Endeavor Houston for Mark, we're just trying to get these done in the right order because we want the 5A get-ahead task done before anything else.
I understand, and Carlos, you asked for Carlos to do step 1, and then once we got clearance from you to do step 2, and that's the plan at the moment.
Yeah, they gave us clearance.
Okay, Joe, I think I'm pretty close.
All right, let's come over to starboard, foot and a half.
Okay, foot and a half over to starboard. I think that's right.
And Endeavor
That's right.
Houston, Mark, Joe can go do step 2 on page 7-41 if it works out better that way.
Okay, Joe, that is the relocation of the APFR with the tool stanchion. Did you practice that one?
No. That is
Okay, I think Houston Endeavor, that's a task that's fairly complex and that only Carlos has practiced up to this point, and if possible, we'd like to keep that with him, and then he would go and do EVA sorting cleanup, and until he's completed that, we thought that it would be useful for Joe T to do some of the ISS get-ahead tasks, either the MMOD cover release or the WIS antenna relocations. What are your feelings about that?
And let me add something too, Carlos. Mark, I still need to take the fluid QD cap tool and put it in the note bag.
And Endeavor Houston for
And that's
Mark.
a good point. That's an additional task.
In that case, we would like EV1 to do step 1. That's the PFR swap that we read up, and EV2 to do step 2. And then do the ISS
Step.
get-ahead.
Okay, we copy.
Well, step 1's almost done. Carlos is minutes away from installing that guy, aren't you, Carlos? Yes. Mother, where are you?
Hey, Joe, I had to stop with all the conversation. Do I have to go closer to structure?
Yeah, I understand. Once you come down another 6 inches.
Understand. Down being in the structure or down into the
Orbiter starboard.
Copy. There's another 6 inches.
That's good. Stop there, brakes on.
Stop there, brakes are on.
Okay, I'm going to finish cleaning up here. Close out. I know I got to rotate this yaw, the blue plane mark, so I'm going to do that first.
Say that again, Joe?
That's for Mark.
Okay.
Say again, please, Joe.
I've rotated the yaw, the blue plate back to 6.
Copy.
First shuttle. Okay, I'm tethered to the IAPFR, Mark.
Very good.
Go ahead, Brent.
Hey, Joey, can you come up here, or is it too late for you to come up north? No, not yet. It was really crowded down there, and I didn't want to take a chance, and I ended up leaving my big tether around the trunnion pin, and I don't want to go back down between the SASA and the radiator. So with this guy on my CRT. Oh, I see. Okay. We'll call you back. It might be quicker for you to temp stow it. Just tether it off to something.
This is Mission Control Houston, 4 days, 19 hours, 35 minutes into the flight of Endeavour at the International Space Station. Heading down the home stretch of today's second spacewalk, which is now 5 hours, 20 minutes in duration. Astronauts Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega beginning to wrap up work, actually pressing ahead for some get-ahead work for the next shuttle visit to the International Space Station on the STS-98 mission in January. Having successfully completed all electrical connections between the newly installed P6 solar array truss and the Z1 external truss structure, which will enable power this evening to flow into the modules of the International Space Station for the first time, they pressed on to relocate an S-band antenna array at the top of the huge truss structure, which is now some 90 feet above the payload bay of Endeavour. They also were successful in connecting ammonia coolant lines between the truss structure and the Z1 external framework that will provide cooling for the U.S. laboratory Destiny and other station components in the months and years to come, and prepared a docking port for removal during that mission of the Shuttle Atlantis in January to deliver the U.S. laboratory Destiny to the new international facility.
Still has the thermoplate on it. It'll fit in the bottom one.
Currently, Tanner and Noriega are pressing ahead with some advance work for that January mission, basically opening up capture latches on certain locations of the Z1 truss to which cooling and electrical and data interface cables will be connected between the Z1 and the U.S. laboratory once it is installed in January. Basically, the pressurized mating adapter number 2, which is the docking port to which previous shuttles had linked up to on prior shuttle assembly flights, will be removed by robot arm operator Marcia Ivins in January and parked on the side of the Unity connecting module to make way for the installation of the lab to the Unity itself. Then that docking port will be reinstalled on the back end of the U.S. laboratory for future shuttle dockings beyond that January mission of Atlantis.
Locations are top priority. Pad has the APFR in step 1 and is on his way to P619. So to hand that over to Joe right now would be kind of awkward. So the second step there in that APFR location is a good 20-minute task for Carlos. He's the one who's trained on it. I knew you'd get it. Oh, yeah. Dang it, man. Some of the other get-ahead tasks like that.
Sometimes you just got to work out your own problem. Yeah. Unfortunately, now I got this reel. Okay, I found P619. I'm right on it. Yeah, it's the next one down. Yeah, I should have remembered that. Yeah, I'm just going to... Well, why don't I get rid of this TFR first? And, Mark, what are the settings?
Okay, and have you got P619?
Yep.
And, Carlos, you're at P619?
Affirmative.
Okay, the settings are India, Echo 11.
India, Echo 11.
Earlier today, while Tanner and Noriega were working in the void of space, Expedition 1 Commander Bill Shepard and his crewmates, pilot Yuri Gudzenko and flight engineer Sergei Krikalev, made their second foray into the Unity connecting module to reconfigure a patch panel inside that will enable power to flow from the newly expanded and deployed solar arrays to the Unity itself. That power also is being routed through direct current converters to the Russian modules, and by the end of the night tonight, the International Space Station will be receiving an ample load of power from the newly deployed solar wings on the International Space Station. Again, we're almost 5.5 hours into today's spacewalk, heading down the home stretch. The goal today is to get the spacewalkers back inside and to repressurize the airlock at about the 6.5-hour mark.
Mark?
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
I have the pad. Copy. And I've left it in soft dock for Tom and Beamer. Okay, India, remember what was the rest of that?
Okay, India, Echo 11.
Echo 11.
All the while, there are plans continuing to be formulated by various teams of engineers, both here in Houston and at Sunnyvale, California, where Lockheed Martin engineers are working with Boeing engineers to determine what, if anything, may be done by spacewalkers Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega on Thursday in association with the possible tightening or bringing taut the starboard solar array blankets on the starboard wing of the newly installed P6 truss structure. A plan has not yet been approved. It will be reviewed throughout the course of the night tonight, and the mission management team in the morning will consider whether or not any procedures will be incorporated into that third spacewalk by Tanner and Noriega on Thursday to put cabling back in the pulleys that are at the base of the solar blankets themselves, which fell somewhat slack after they were deployed on Sunday.
Let me check. I think I ended up grabbing them. Yeah, I'm sorry. I got both of them now.
Okay, you got it back. Good.
Yeah.
Again, all of the tasks so far have been successfully completed by Tanner and Noriega. A very smooth spacewalk. This spacewalk, the second of three planned for this mission by Joe Tanner, who today is conducting his fourth excursion into the void of space. This is the second spacewalk for Carlos Noriega.
Okay, Mark, I'm over on the tool stanchion. Okay, we copy. I want to stick it in one of these bayonets.
In all, this is the 95th spacewalk conducted by U.S. astronauts in human spaceflight history, the 56th outside a space shuttle, the 12th spacewalk in support of the assembly of the International Space Station.
Page, you feeling a little tired? Or you got these two PFR things in that 40. Pad is installed here. Copy. The pad is installed on the tool stanchion.
And Mark, what I'm doing is I'm pulling all the cable out of this guy so that it retracts slowly. Because what's happening is it retracted too fast instead of...
With the WVS camera. 1 minute.
I'm going to be a little while here.
What can I do to help you?
Endeavour, Houston, we're going to be...
Actually, you know that task, I've only done it twice.
Yeah. Well, I still want 2 more now.
Yeah. Okay, it looks like I'm done now to a reasonable wind, and so I'm going to slowly walk it in. Okay, Mark, IAP4 is stowed, and
it's going to be dark fairly soon, Carlos, so on the, just a word about the tether.
Yeah, I know I want to get it in before it gets too dark.
It's coming up shortly.
Yeah. I think it's winding better now.
Endeavour, Houston, Brent, air to ground 2.
Okay, Mark, I'm going back to the... Go ahead. Lock bag.
Okay, Brent, maneuver up.
Okay, copy. To retrieve the Judy cap tool. Right on.
5 to 1952, and that'll put us in attitude sunrise. I have the roll pitch off for you when you're ready to copy.
Okay, is that the same maneuver we skipped in 1810, or is it different?
Same maneuver, you have it.
Copy, Jim. One of the bag. The bag of confusion.
Again, everything continuing to go very smoothly down the stretch of today's second of three planned spacewalks for this mission by Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega. All of the tasks earmarked for this excursion have been completed. The crew pressing ahead with a couple of get-ahead tasks for the January flight of Atlantis to install the U.S. laboratory Destiny, the cornerstone of scientific research for the International Space Station. The crew once again completed all electrical connections between the P6 solar arrays and the Z1 truss. That then will enable power to finally flow into the International Space Station modules and other systems themselves. They were able to relocate an S-band antenna array system to the very top of this solar array truss structure. That will enhance data and telemetry capability from station systems.
Yeah, we can see that.
Ammonia cooling lines were connected between the P6 arrays and the Z1 truss. That will provide cooling ultimately for the U.S. laboratory, Destiny, and other station systems once the lab is installed in January. And a docking port to which previous shuttles had linked up to was prepared for removal through the disconnection of data and telemetry and electrical cables.
I think it's getting a little worn.
It's not fared too well, showing its age. Yeah, only been a couple of years.
There's some tears in the U portion of it.
Working in the vicinity of the U.S. Unity module, Joe Tanner reporting some tattering in the outside logo of the word Unity that is affixed to the outside of that module. It actually has been 2 years since the shuttle Endeavour was launched, almost exactly 2 years last night, in fact, that Endeavour was launched, carrying the Unity module to orbit to link up with the Russian Zarya module, the first component of the International Space Station, which was launched a month earlier. Again, the final major task that Tanner and Noriega engaged in this afternoon was the preparation of a docking port called Pressurized Mating Adapter number 2, which will be removed from the back end of the Unity module and temporarily parked on the side of Unity to make way for the mating of the U.S. laboratory Destiny to the Unity module by robot arm operator Marcia Ivins on the STS-98 mission in January.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Moving my way, Senator.
Looks good.
I'm unlocking that reel. I'm leaving my favorite. Confirm it.
Wow. Going on that one. Okay, copy.
McFeather caddy. Got a portable installable whiff. I'm heading down to that node PSR mark.
We have enough information there, Joe, to locate that QD Cap 2 in case we need it. All right. Closing up the bag. Papa Papa.
Okay, first I'm going
Concur.
Okay, Mark, direction, please.
Direction would be, at this point, I think you obviously do your tether swap, but your decision on either an antenna, with antenna, or the MMOD cover release.
Well, I'm going to go right by an antenna on the bull handle. I'll go ahead and pull that off.
Okay, copy. And we'll monitor what Carlos is doing so that you finish up about the same time.
Okay. Yeah, just cut me off whenever you want to.
Okay.
I would like to know the answer on the MMOD, though, whether it requires a torque tool or not.
This is a personal curiosity.
Well, no, if we're going to do it, if we do it on day 3, we're going to need to carry a tool up there.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
Okay, Mark.
At the moment, of course, it doesn't mention a torque,
Right. We got surprised
a
late.
torque multiplier.
We got surprised late in the game with the expected torque on it.
Okay. And Carlos, you're calling?
Yeah, the pitch setting, please.
You're going from uniform to Papa Papa.
Okay, that's in work.
And Joe, I would think that there's probably only enough time to do either a WIS antenna or the MMOD.
You're cut now.
Well, Joe, I think there's probably only time to do either one antenna or the MMOD cover release. So if you're curious about whether it needs a torque multiplier, maybe now's the time to check it.
Okay. Minutes. Alpha 4, right?
Yes, Alpha 4 counterclockwise to 23.5.
Okay, Mark, what's next? It's pitched in...
Okay, the next thing is to clock from 2 to 6.
Okay, from 2 to 6. From my side, I will read a 12.
I would agree.
All right, both bolts are released off of this antenna on the pool handle.
Copy. Is there a convenient stowage place for that antenna?
Yeah. Okay, we'll try our little... Oh, tape comes right off. Carlos? Okay, I got a good lock at pitch of 12.
Copy, Carlos. The next thing is to reclock the stanchion.
Yeah, I know that's what I said. Now, could you just tell me what the roll and the R is so I can look at this real time?
Yeah, the roll and the yaw would be Bravo and 11.
Okay, I think I'll do that now. Okay, going at the little pocket that we identified to stow this antenna. Opens up very nicely, Carlos. Good. Okay, the PS5 part is done. Now I got to work on the tool station. kept on tape souvenir. If this pretty cheap souvenir is like a pocket full of it. Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, Mark, that with antenna is removed and complete stuff.
Okay, I think there's time for you, just enough time for you to go up and check that MMOD cover release.
Huh? I'd just like to know how that torque really is.
I understand. I think our timeline permits it.
Almost all my closeout is done except for tether swap and tool inventory.
I agree.
Heading down the final phase of their spacewalk, Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega working in the vicinity of the Unity module, about to release the cover off a micrometeorite orbital debris shield that reference to MMOD. This is a cover on a shield that is now being exposed to provide extra shielding for the Unity module and the orientation the station will be flying in from now on.
Yeah, Brent, before the guys come back inside, we'd like to do a little bit of WVS troubleshooting for Joe's MUTV. All of the steps are IV. If someone's available, I'll call those up to you, and then we can see if it'll help.
Yeah, I've got enough tether from where the arm is to get here, don't I? What do you think, Carl?
Okay, then...
To get to where? MMOD? Oh, sure. On the arm? Yeah. I'll send it where you got it. Well, that's true, because it's just, P6 is only 43, 44 feet long, and where? Okay, Mark, I'm at the MMOD cover.
Okay, 84 counterclockwise, 223.5.
One turn.
One turn.
One way or the other, one icon or the other.
We're checking it now. Okay, Mario, what we did was we essentially switched Joe and Carlos using the frequency button on the WCS computer, and we still... Yeah, Joe T, we're doing a little troubleshooting on WVS. Could you turn your TV power back on?
Yeah.
Joe, you were...
Is that what you wanted me to do, essentially Joe and Carlos using the frequency button?
affirmative.
Okay, we've done that. Put the TV camera back on, and we're not getting any signal.
Copy that. Then we'd like you to select the telemetry page, and then for both cameras, record the signal strength, voltage, electronics, temp. I'll read those up to you again if you need it, and then call those down to us, please.
Yeah, it's funny. We're getting good numbers for Carlos, but for Joe, we get a lot of Carlos's lens center signal strength negative 6.8.5. Voltage is 12.74. Electronics is 2.3.
Okay. 8.4 doesn't do it. I would like, with your approval, just go to ratchet mode, and I'm set at 23.5.
Carlos and the M's for Joseph.
Copy. I'll check with the ground.
Hey, Jody.
That call up from spacecraft communicator Mario Runco to Mark Garneau involves some troubleshooting that's ongoing with the helmet camera being worn by Joe Tanner. It ceased to operate a few hours ago in the midst of today's second spacewalk. The helmet camera being used by Carlos Noriega, providing this view, continues to work to perfection, providing a bird's eye view of all of the work for the spacewalkers today.
Just outside. I'm steady, but if you could come up here and squeeze these paddles for me when you're done down there, I'll just hold right where I am.
Okay. Okay, and stand by, Joe. I'll ask the ground. Houston Endeavor, EV1 is at the MMOD cover release location. He's got an A4 PGT setting and would like to know if he can go to ratchet mode with 23.5.
Endeavor Houston, affirmative, 23.5 is okay. We just got word from the MER that the torque expected is approximately 44 foot-pounds, and we'll need a torque multiplier if that's the case. So let's try the 23.5 and work from there.
Okay, we copy. And Carlos, are you comfortable waiting there until Joe gets you?
Yeah, I'm comfortable and steady.
Okay. And you heard that, Joe?
I did, and MER was wrong.
Okay, good work.
All right, now, you want me to do these other three real quick?
And then go and assist Joe, Carlos.
Take me with a smidge. Can you walk away from it right now, Carlos? No, I got to stay right here. Okay. That's actually, you have to be careful when you go by me.
Endeavor Houston for Mark and Carlos, if you can give us a serial number for the PFR that he's having a problem with at your convenience when you can get to it, we'd appreciate it. We'd like to record it down here.
Actually, Mario, the problem is not with the PFR. I had misunderstood something, and I thought that the work stanchion would just pop right in and the pedals would snap out of the way, and I can't get it to do that. And since I'm closer to the ECOM than I'd really like to be with a long mass, I'd just rather have Joe squeeze the paddles so that I can push it in.
Roger that.
Other than that, the task is complete.
Copy, Carlos.
Carlos Noriega checking another item off of the list for today, the removal of a cover from a micrometeoroid orbital debris shield on the side of the Unity module. The astronauts in the final minutes of their spacewalk for today. Shortly, they will move down back into the payload bay to begin cleaning up the area, collecting all of their tools and moving back into the airlock for its repressurization. We're now 5 hours 50 minutes into today's spacewalk. The first spacewalk by Tanner and Noriega Sunday lasted 7.5 hours.
To Carlos, or go straight to Carlos?
Endeavor currently traveling over Europe, linked up to the International Space Station now for more than 75 hours, about to move in a northwest to southeasterly direction that will carry it into daylight just 13.5 minutes from now.
If you like, I'll go motorized on these last two and give you an indication what the torque really was.
Yeah, we're set at 23.5, so that's okay.
Yeah, we're okay. I'll go to A6, which is equivalent.
Sounds good.
Number 2 is a little tougher nut to crack. That 23.5 doesn't do it. Request 30.5.
Okay, copy. Houston Endeavor, did you copy that?
Negative, say again.
One of the MMOD cover release bolts did not open at 23.5. We're requesting 30.5.
Got to be approved, I think.
Affirmative. You can go to that setting and you can take it up to the maximum incrementally as you need to.
Okay, copy.
Okay, I'll motorize A7, see if we can get a reading on it. Get a little break.
Okay.
2, a turn, and final will be number 1. Copy. Somewhere between 25 and 30 then.
Okay, copy.
Okay, that's done. MMOD bolts are released.
Excellent.
On my way across. Okay. I just wish I'd been able to do this test a couple more times. Just kept changing.
Yeah.
This is Mission Control Houston with its new Solar Wings spread. The International Space Station affixed to the shuttle Endeavour flies at an altitude of 237 statute miles and an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator as astronauts Joe Tanner and Carlos Noriega approach the 6-hour mark in today's EVA.
Endeavour Houston for Brent on WVS.
Go ahead.
Yes, Brent, when you previously changed frequencies and swapped Joe and Carlos, you were in the original config, and I presume you went to the alternate config by swapping them. Did you do a third iteration by taking them back to the original config?
I was debating whether or not they were going to clobber our SPP translation.
Yeah, we got it back on the original configuration.
Copy, thanks.
Yeah, I can go over. Okay. I got a bad retractor too. Got to work on it a little bit. That's more than the usual amount of shaking.
Lead spacewalk officer Glenda Laws conferring with Flight Director Phil Engeloff on the timeline. The crew right on the money, just about to wrap up activities and clean up all of their tools, gathering all of their equipment before heading back into the airlock for it to be repressurized. At that moment, the official end of the second spacewalk will be demarcated.
Basically, go below my legs along the node until you're on the opposite side of the PSR as I am.
Again, the crew has completed all of its work for the day, all of the tasks earmarked for this very important day of reconfiguring electrical and cooling lines to enable power to flow from the newly installed P6 solar array truss and its huge solar blankets themselves into the systems and the modules of the International Space Station.
Going off to your right side. Okay. Oh, nice place you got down here. Yeah. Okay, what can I do? Okay, just careful. Okay, once you get up with your feet in between the ECOM and Z1, just keep rotating your body around. And you're clear of the ECOM?
Tanner and Noriega moved outside into the void of space, actually putting their suits on internal battery power to mark the official start of the spacewalk at 11:21 a.m. Central Time this morning. They completed all electrical connections between the solar arrays and the Z1 truss, which will enable power to flow into the International Space Station systems themselves.
Is that outside the envelope?
They clambered to the top of the P6 truss structure high above Endeavour's cargo bay to relocate an S-band antenna assembly. That communications antenna array will enhance data and telemetry capability from the International Space Station.
Oh, neat. Yeah. Oh, okay. Actually, why don't you hold it steady and I'll squeeze the pedal? All right. I have it. You have it? You're tethered to it? Yes. Okay. Push it in.
While at the top of that P6 structure, the astronauts provided panoramic views from their helmet cameras and engineering views of the slackness and the tension cables of the solar blankets on the starboard wing of the P6 array. That will be the focus of attention for engineers and mission managers throughout the course of the night tonight and tomorrow morning in determining whether or not any tasks will be added to the third spacewalk on Thursday to try to pull that starboard solar array blanket into a taut configuration.
That's affirmative.
We're at 6 hours right now. We're going to finish on time.
I believe you will. And Carlos, your next job is to retrieve the crew lock EVA bag.
The crew now moving into their cleanup activities, having completed all of the work earmarked for today and a few get-ahead tasks for the next shuttle assembly flight to the International Space Station in January. In addition to hooking up electrical connections between the solar array structure and the Z1 truss and relocating the S-band antenna assembly, they connected ammonia cooling lines between the truss segments to enable cooling capability for the U.S. laboratory Destiny and other International Space Station avionics in the future. And they prepared a docking port on the Unity module for its relocation in January to clear a path for the mating of the U.S. laboratory Destiny to the Unity.
Okay, Mark, in order for me to successfully get to over to the location.
The crew also released launch restraints on one of the two radiators associated with an early external thermal control or cooling system. That early external thermal cooling system is located on the P6 truss. One of the huge photovoltaic radiators was deployed on Sunday night to provide internal cooling for the electronics within the truss itself. The one radiator system that will be deployed tomorrow on remote commanding will provide cooling for the U.S. laboratory Destiny as well. Once it is activated during the STS-98 mission, a third radiator on that P6 truss will not be deployed until the January mission of Atlantis.
Okay, we'll get it for you. You can just flip that off of that, I appreciate it. Oh, I see. Yeah, you see it over there? Yep. Okay, Mark.
Yes.
I am back to 6002 area, and this is my orbiter safety tether.
Okay, copy.
All right. I need to secure it to the tether extender.
I agree. Then you'll be triple tethered.
Righto. It's a good thing Martha and the boys like that. It's okay to say hi to your kids, isn't it?
You bet.
Hi, Martha. Hi, William. Hi, Mitt. Do I have enough time?
Go ahead, Silas.
Ada, Brian, Robert, Rudy, and Elizabeth. That takes a lot longer. Don't forget Wendy. Oh, yeah, of course. But we said two. Okay, Mark, I've transferred my waist tether to the safety tether.
Tanner and Noriega offering greetings to their children from an altitude of 237 miles above the Earth.
Locked. Oops, I'm sorry. All right. Now I'm going to try to see some of this slack back into this tether reel here. I should have warned you that was coming, Joe. Been fighting it all day. No, when it's not, when I did your tether keeper down here. Oh. Okay. I'm ready to unclip and then move.
Copy, Joe. And once you have the crew lock EVA bag, Carlos, you're going to go and retrieve the fuse tether as well?
Yep.
Your way back, one of the two of you should also look at the node SDS targets.